psychics that are able to bring information forward at this time, and also are very taken with people who read the tarot cards and who get impressions and visions. But for some reason, it seems like those kinds of things come in through and pictures come in, and I'm able to talk about them a little bit. And so today is Sunday, February 23rd. It's 6:30 and I'm looking at a lot of the pictures about the world, about specific individuals. I see pictures, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. And one of the pictures I have because it's very important to be hopeful, which I am, and optimistic, which I am, and I think these are amazing times to be alive. And I will just eat one of my delicious chocolate covered beans. These are delicious chocolate covered beans. They're delicious. And life doesn't get better than that. In this moment, life is beautiful. I'm eating a chocolate covered bean. Okay, just some of that. Enjoy it with me now. Okay, so my first question is, I tuned into the Great 12 Empire. And what I wanted to share first is about what's right up in the face in the media, what's going on with people in the world right now, and the powerful buffoonery of this individual, which I feel, but he's perfect. He was the perfect person to be elected in the way that he was. He's not legally, with the help of foreign adversaries, as we look at it as Americans. And when you get this person that comes through the back door and gets into power and then begins to unravel before us over the time that he's been in office. And as he's been in office, we see his verbal words that are separating people. We see his attitudes which separate and divide. He likes borders, he likes barriers. Oh, I see his wall come up, and that's how he likes himself. He likes to surround himself with a giant barrier and build himself up within that barrier. I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing a wall, a medieval wall around a castle. I've seen this image for him before, a castle. He wants to build a castle and own an empire. And let me go into the image that's coming in very strongly right now. I see Donald Trump, and he's got on one side Ivanka and her husband. On the other side, he's got his son Don and Eric and some other family members. I don't even see Melania in this, which is fascinating, because in some way she doesn't count for him. She's standing next to him now, literally looking like a statue, like somebody who is looking good, who has no brain of her own, no choices of her own. She's just solid, and she's representing this image for him of what a marriage is. I'll get into her in a minute. But anyway, getting back to this image, the whole family, they're all linked together, and they're kind of walking along a yellow brick road. This is the Wizard of Oz coming in. And they have built an empire in this lifetime. The focus of this empire was to build their dream of Oz, this wonderful magical world where they were in control of everything, where they had forces like the monkeys and the little elves and things working on their behalf to work for them, to enhance them and lift them up into this powerful position. And they're moving along, and all of a sudden the road in front of them, the yellow bricks are getting very wobbly and very broken up. And then they're increasing to get broken up, and suddenly the road stops, and they're all looking down at the bottom of the road, and they drop off because they didn't realize when they took the next step they were down. And so they left the yellow and the green shrubs and the apples and their jolliness as they're bouncing along, and they, boom, they're standing and they're looking out over a vast, desolate, What it looks like to me is World War II post Germany after the Blitz, when the entire German city, say of Berlin, was completely bombed and it's ruined. And everything I see is in black and white now. All the imagery is black and white. The color is all gone. And they're standing there in black and white and gray, and they're completely shell shocked. They're paralyzed. They're numb. They can't believe what has happened to them. And they go through this period of numbness. And like zombies, like numb zombies, they step forward into the streets, all unlinked now. And they're moving out into the streets and tripping over debris and just looking ahead with glazed eyes, and they can't even find each other anymore. And they're all trying to individually crawl into whatever ramshackle door they can with a structure over it, like the remains of a room or the remains of a cafe, where they can take shelter and hide and kind of pull it together. So what does this image tell me about the Trump family? Well, it tells me that they were building a massive empire, and they lived in a dream world, and they were going along very well, because on each side I see the green trees and the fences and all the characters that came forward, the Tin Man, the Straw Man, the Lion-Hearted Guy, all of them with one powerful talent but missing everything else and not being real. These are characters that are almost fictional, not real people, and these are the kind of people Trump surrounded himself with, and these are the kind of people that he dealt with and that he manipulated to come along with him on his journey on the yellow brick road, because he was going to promise them that they could get their desires met. Okay? And instead of getting to Oz, which is their, the Emerald City in Oz, where the guy is pulling all the levers and everything, even that dream doesn't even come to fruition, because they fall off the edge of this gigantic road into a barren wasteland. And that's obvious in this imagery, that their colorful, meaningful dream that they had created is now turning into a barren wasteland for them. They're emotionally devoid of any meaning in their life, because I'm feeling now that everything that meant anything to them was not loving and caring about humanity. It was not loving and caring about our planet or nature or the creatures that live on this planet. It was really about self-aggrandizement and encapsulating the self with walls, with artificial divisions, and upgrading the self while everything else around them went down. And the irony is they're the ones who are going down now. And they're in a colorless world. They've lost all of the meaning of their dream. The dream defined them. Money and power defined them. And they lost all their money and power, which this is going to happen to them. In various ways, they will lose all their money and all their power. And they will be separated from each other. I see divorce for everybody. Melania and Donald. I see divorce for Jared and his wife Ivanka. The strain is just too enormous. I see it for Donald and whoever he's with in the future, forget it. And Eric, I'm not sure he's married, but whatever he's partnered with, it's all over there too. And the mother, believe it or not, Ivana, is devastated as well, because her entire clan has gone down into the bottom of the barrel, and she needs to help as much as she can. But it's futile, because she, I feel, was the one who had some humanity, some inkling of what she really was. But she reaches out to try to help her children and these people, and it's hopeless. They are left all alone in this black and white desolate rubble and broken down structure. Nobody wants to come near them. Their friends have deserted them. Their country wants to erase them. They can't make it financially. Socially, they can't make it. They are like a big black circle, I see, which people want to shrink down, telescope down into nothing, so it gets obliterated. And I see this as a very unfortunate turn of events for these individuals, because now each and every one of them, whether they're in jail or not, and they have all committed crimes worthy of jail time, they they are going to struggle to stay alive and keep moving on with their lives. But I see it all as human beings that live shells now, because the devastation for them is so severe. The devastation is so complete for them that they walk like paper shells through life in the future, and they don't have any internal substance or any they can't grasp anything meaningful or real that brings them back into their humanity, into their color again. And this for me is very sad. Oh, but again, in my worldview and in my experience, people make choices, and they do these things from a level that is very difficult for us to understand, a level where they benefit the larger soul, even though the lifetime may be very difficult or negative or challenging. Because from my perspective, the soul generates many lifetimes, and the individual participates, the soul participates in many of these lifetimes and gathers experience, and from all these lifetimes is woven a tapestry of the soul. The soul becomes more of itself, more fulfilled, more expanded. And this is in general how I have experienced myself as I've developed in my life, with many traumatic events and very big challenges, which at points along the YouTube journey here I will be sharing. So getting back to the only one who feels like she may be able to move out of some of these situations with some bit of an intact central core, maybe Melania with her child, because her family and country could embrace her again. And the others, though, being American and being enculturated here, will have a much more challenging time. Tremendous difficulties ahead. And Ivana, her heart bleeds for these people. And Trump feels totally defeated that he has not only lost Oz, this wonderful dream he had in his empire, but his children now are completely withdrawing from him and separate from him, and everything they've been taught by their father, the admiration they had, has been shattered. And because of this, they can't deal with him anymore. He's an empty individual. He has no meaningful parental role. He's not this ideal. His paradigm didn't work, and I've said this before. They are so disillusioned and devastated. It takes years for the recovery. And Ivanka keeps coming in with her children, and she feels like she develops down the road. I'm talking far down the road, a decade or so. A severe kind of gnawing illness that she has to start dealing with, which is an outlet for this terrible pain and shame and devastation and separateness that they feel. This is the biggest challenge for them, is the walls that they built around themselves to enhance them become the walls around themselves that imprison themselves. And this is their big challenge. They don't know how to commune and cooperate and engage humanity on a one-to-one level where they are emotionally satisfied. They only know the way to extract what they need or manipulate and get money from a situation through deals and contracts and business to enhance themselves. So this becomes very, very, very challenging for these people. Now, I just wanted to talk about how I see this working for America. It is a tremendous challenge for the world and Americans to go through the events which are occurring